every time we might have the opportunity to come live from different corners of the world to come and engage. So if we have these resources recorded, people who want it on demand can easily have access to it. So I hope that's not a problem for anyone. But like I said, the same way you're seeing my face and hearing my voice, it'll be a pleasure for me to also see your face. And when the time comes, hear your voice, because it's not just me talking. I don't work like that, especially for this session. I would need to hear from you. So, um, just so that we are clear, when I start calling people, hi, Sheon, thank you. When I start calling people, like, you guys are not taken by surprise. So, Emmanuel, I would leave the floor to you to maybe do the introductions and jumpstarts the session. Hi, Buki.
Hello,
I
blessed.
knew you were pretty. I knew you were pretty, Jerry. Good to
Thank
see
you.
you. Okay, seems like we've lost Emmanuel for a bit. So let me just do a bit of housekeeping before he joins us. If you can hear me clearly, please give me a thumbs up. Just use the reactions button. Just give me a thumbs up with the reaction, so I'm sure that I'm communicating with people and not bots. Now we live in an AI world. So I need to be certain that I'm talking with human beings. So everyone, yep. Can I see your thumbs up, please? Use just the reactions on your screen. I see one from Bookie. I don't see from any other person. Do I assume that only Bookie's Bookie and Wilfred? The rest, okay, Asheun. As we go along, if you have questions, you can use the chat function to type in your questions. As soon as I finish the session, I would go through the chat and respond to the questions there. And then after the session, if you have questions, then we can unmute and then engage properly. Now, when it comes to communication, I do not like to talk at people, which is what you see at most symposiums. Someone just talking at you, at you, at you. And at a point in time, it becomes information overload. I like to engage. So I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to use scenarios. I would probably, select one person to say, what's your take on this? Please don't feel like selecting you or pointing you out or maybe just nitpicking you. That's not the intent. The intent is just to get all of us learning, because as far as I'm concerned, any knowledge that you are not using is just occupying space in your head. As when you get knowledge or information, it should be actionable for you to use it and actually get the benefit from it. That's why I connected with Wilfred. I saw Wilfred on LinkedIn. I went through his profile and I was like, this is my brother in whom I am well pleased. And so I must connect with him, because he breaks it down and he gives you simple, actionable information that you can take and run with. And that for me is key. We have so many public speakers, motivational speakers. What's that thing? Aspire to perspire so that you will what? What's the last one they always said? Become. I don't knock
Desire.
desire. Oh, desire to aspire to desire to perspire to aspire. Whatever. Anyways, I don't knock them all. I don't knock them. You know why? I'm a firm believer in the power of the word, spoken word. And if you doubt me, I will give you a simple example that all of us all agree with. We all know Hitler, right? Adolf Hitler. My question to you this morning, before I introduce myself, would be, did Adolf Hitler actually carry gun or go by himself to put on the gas in the gas chambers? Did he commit all those atrocities? No. What did he do? He spoke to people.
No.
Bought their hearts, bought their heads, swayed them. Because a lot of the soldiers, if you read the account and biography of that time, a lot of the soldiers couldn't believe. Some of them actually committed suicide at the end of it. That they couldn't believe that they had committed such atrocities, that they did such things. But with the power of the spoken word, he was able to convince them and get them to act in the way that he wanted them to act, which is what life is about. We are not islands here. We are set here to build relationships. And the cement between the building blocks of those relationships that will take us to our success is what? Our communication, our ability to speak and strike a chord in the heart of our listeners so that they want more, They want you and they want to progress with the discussion that you're having, which is what an interview is all about, right? That's just really what an interview is all about. So today we are here to learn, we are here to engage, and I want you to be able to open up, ask those questions that would take us from point A to point B. So now that we have Emmanuel back, I can
B.
surrender the floor back to him so that he can do the honors of kickstarting this session.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting session on Common Sense with Freddy. So, it's a monthly engagement that we organize. It's a free monthly engagement we organize for partners and also for the public, where we pick on various subjects that matters in the society, and we try to give life perspective to it. And we believe at the end it will transform some people, it will trigger them to make some uh, solid decisions about their life going forward. So we have some testimonies from previous sessions, and today, we for February we took on the subject, the cost of our choices, and we got some good feedback from that session, and even from after that session we also had some good follow-ups as well. So for this month, we have a very reputable guest in our midst. She's also a partner, so she's supporting the Z Worldwide Academy, and she will be taking us through on interviewing confidently to land your dream job. So sometimes you may graduate with good grades. You have a lot of people out there, they've not been able to transform to befitting levels. They go for interviews and they get disappointed when they are not called back. So they begin to wonder what exactly is happening. I have good grades, I have everything. Then why is this thing not clicking for me? So Blessing Akpan here will take us through what we need to do to be able to scale through interviews and land your dream job. So she will share a perspective on that subject. But let me just give a brief uh, background about Blessing. Uh, Blessing Akpan has a master's of science in communication and career coach. She is a communicator and a HRO specialist based in Ontario, Canada, with over a decade of coaching people to win in life using enhanced communication skills. With a background in economics, finance, and human resources management, Blessing has consulted for private and public agencies such as the British Council, Cross River State Government, the World Bank GEM projects, among others. In other words, good communication is the cornerstone for relationships that powers results. She is a UNIDO master trainer and also a public speaking coach. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Blessing Akwan. Blessing, thank you very much for joining us. But just before I hand over the floor to you, I just want to echo it once more that these sessions will be recorded so that we could share to partners who are unable to attend today's session for one reason or the other. So, Blessing, at this point, you have the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Like I was listening to you introduce me, I was like, really, is that me?
Mm.
I'm just one small guest somewhere from the corner of Akwa Ibom State. Anyway, thank you so much. Just a little correction there. My Master's of Science is in Economics and Finance. And yes, I do have my background as well in Human Resources, and I'm a Learning Development Specialist. So I live currently and work in Ontario, Canada as a human resource professional and a trainer. But I've had over a decade, like, working with several institutions, bilateral and multilateral institutions all across the world. And I've been privileged to use them as my social experiments, within this decade of building a career in communications. And I can tell you that the information we're going to be sharing here today is practical, it's actionable, and it is geared especially for the Nigerian market. Now, why am I saying the Nigerian market? Let me start from there. I know that we are in a global world. Technology has brought down the walls of that used to hold back interaction. I mean, here am I in Canada talking to you. Wilfred in the US is hosting this. I mean, put this together, and Emmanuel in Uyo is hosting this. And you guys from all over the globe. From Lagos, Abuja, where you can share your location in the chat, so I get a sense of where people are from. In the same vein, what we thought technology was doing, the flip side of the pandemic accelerated it. And so we have what? Virtual work. We have the ability to work from home, work from anywhere. In fact, one of the things that are trending now, people are moving from Canada, which we all know is a great white north, can get very cold, to places like Barbados and Jamaica, because they can go there, live there, and work virtually. So it brings to mind the fact that in as much as we are in Nigeria, we are global citizens able to participate and take advantage of global opportunities, which is one of the visions and the cornerstones of Z Worldwide. That's why it's worldwide. To take the average Nigerian youth and make that person big, dream global dreams that will cross boundaries and impact not just Nigeria, but the rest of the world. Okay? So when we say communication, interviewing, right, we shouldn't be limited to how it's done in Nigeria, because most times when you look at jobs in Nigeria, it's like you are at the mercy of this boss, this HR officer. We're chatting a bit before you came in when someone was saying, "Oh, do this for me, and I will give you a job in Shell," or stuff like that. We're at that mercy where we are cap in hand, almost begging. "Hey, sir, anything you want, sir. I can work under pressure. I am motivated," and all those other key terms. That's what I want to change. Now, Wilfred has been tensioning us in the
Yeah.
Telegram group, for those of us in the Telegram group, with all his offers, with the big numbers. And people have been like, "Oh, God, when ministry." I can answer you that I can give you the answer. That question can be soon, but it depends on you. And which is why we're here. How do we connect to people so that we become the unanimous choice? How do we confidently present ourselves such that they say, if not them, no other? Because that's what it all is. Now, to get us started, let us imagine this. Who should I pick? Alpha, I like you. You said you're born in Sierra Leone, you're working in Niger. Alpha, do you mind putting your camera, your video on? Because we're going to do this together. If you don't mind, if you mind, tell me and we'll move on to someone else. Okay, seems like he minds, so I'm going to move on to Sheon. Sheon, do you want to help me with this? Oh, he's in a noisy place. Okay, we understand. Thank you. You know what? Let's put the pain on the one who brought us together. So Wilfred, we'll use you for this. Unmute yourself. Now, Wilfred, imagine when you were single and unmarried. You're a good boy. Okay, he 1 minute. Let's wait for Wilfred to come. Shehu is already laughing. I told you that me, I'm very practical. I told you I'm very practical. So let's do this. Wilfred,
Yes.
imagine when you were single and unmarried and still, playing the field and being the fine boy around. Now, I know in the psyche of a man, there are so many things that contributes to the man's confidence, the money in his pockets, the way he looks, the dresses he's wearing, his friends around him and all of that. Now, let's say you're sitting at a nice restaurant. There's not a lot of money in your pockets. And you just went there to maybe have one bottle of Coke. You see a pretty lady come into that restaurant. She orders not Coke, but a bottle of wine, expensive wine. She's sitting by herself. And this is your spec. He's someone that, on a good day, you should be able to say hello to. But here you are drinking Coke and she's drinking what? Wine. Two things can happen. You say to yourself, let me just walk by her and smile. Let's see what will happen, right? So you walk by her and you smile. And let's say she smiles back and winks. What do you do?
Thank you
Don't
for
forget
putting.
there's Coke on your table and there's expensive wine in front of her.
Yes, I agree with you. Thank you for putting me on the spot. If it is the real Wilfred you're talking to, first, I wouldn't even put myself in that position long before now.
Okay.
I wouldn't put myself in that position.
Okay.
Secondly, I don't drink. So when I see you drink an expensive drink or wine, like we have it at home here, it doesn't appeal to me. I'll buy for you, but I don't drink. So it wasn't going to fascinate me. So, but if I admire you, and now, two things. Either you say yes or you say no. I will make a step.
You will make a step. So
Yes, I will.
you smiled at her.
I'll smile back, yes.
And she no. You initiated. You
Uh-huh.
smiled.
Uh-huh.
She smiled and she winked at you.
Yes.
What do you do?
I will say something.
You say something. Now,
Yes, hi.
let's hold it. Let's just hold it there
Mhm.
and then we'll continue.
Mhm.
Now, you see what his response initially was that, when he knows that he's having Coke and you're drinking wine and you're expensive, he won't even make a move. That is the problem that faces most people. They see a big company, they see a job, description. It sounds nice. The pay is fantastic, but they look at that. It's not for me. I'm not worthy. I shouldn't even bother. So they don't even try. I was talking with a colleague recently, and he's one of the on the chair of committee of people who give out scholarships, and he's like, you know what, Blessing? Every single year we're returning money back to the pot because people are not applying. I know, yes, the description is there. It's supposed to be stringent so that people are discouraged or, they know that it's serious business. But even try, we know how to be flexible. People are not applying. And so they are returning money back to the pots. The first step as a HR specialist, I cannot know that you exist if you don't show yourself to me. Wilfred could have sat down in that corner and she might not have noticed him. But him standing up, walking beside her, and smiling at her is his application. Here am I. See me.
Yeah.
Even just see me. See that I exist. Now that smile could have been a leering, sneering smile. Now, when I use words like this, I like to be sure that you understand what I mean. When we say a guy is leering at a woman, there's some guys that look at a woman and all they can see is sex, right? And so they're like, oh, yes, oh, wow. No, not that kind of smile. A smile that is, oh, nice, you look good. I appreciate the hand of the work of the Lord on your life, and just a good, polite, gentlemanly smile. What does your resume look like? That's your first step. That's your first interaction, right? What's that smile? And then the second step, she smiles and she winks at you. So the HR person looks at your resume and says, this is someone that we would like to talk with. So let's start this dance. Before I go further, most of us, when we think of interviews, is at the point of, okay, in front of you, in front of a table or a computer in today's virtual world, that's where the engagement is starting. No. An interview could be in a networking event. You could be sitting down talking to someone at a conference, and the person is thinking, this person sounds like the kind of person who would be a right fit into our organization. It could be at the current work that you're doing. I'm sure most of us must have heard of headhunters. I've been headhunted from several positions. There was a position I worked with the Central Bank project on entrepreneurship development in the South. I was headhunted, and the company I was working with, they were like, "Bless you, know what? We'll make you a director. Please don't go," because they saw. So in that interaction of the work that I was doing with them, I was being interviewed. So an interview can come in various forms. And it's not just about when you sit down in front of that person, in front of a computer, in front of a desk to say, hello, I beg to apply. My name is this. Okay? So now that we have that first part of the analogy correctly, let's go back to Wilfred. So Wilfred, she smiles, she winks at you, and you make a move, you say something. What's your opening phrase?
I would have strategized what I was going to say.
Oh, but she just walked in, you'd have strategized. Okay, yeah. So, so what's the strategy? Tell us, what's the strategy?
Okay, so for a lot of you that have listened to me before, I'm always using the word strategizing. So for every single thing I do, I have to strategize. So if I'm going to talk to somebody, I will make sure I make the choice of words I'm going to use.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I'm going to make a move, I will make my calculation so that in case anything goes wrong, I will fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say in this particular scenario, it was an impromptu thing. I've looked at her, I've classed her, I've sized her up in my head. I'll forget that I'm a village boy that don't have money to buy wine but a Coke. So I'll clear my throat and then I'll pick my choices of words. As I walk past and she winks at me, I'll be like, indeed, you're pretty. How you doing? Can I take a seat?
Okay, very, very simple, very straightforward. Now, I like what he said. He says he will strategize. He will strategize, which brings me to the next point. When we talk about confidence, what we are saying is we are building our emotional intelligence. That word has become a fad in today's language. Everybody's talking EQ, EQ. And of course, EQ is much more important than IQ, especially when EQ, emotional intelligence quotient, is backed by your adaptability quotient, your ability to be flexible. So you heard what he said. He will strategize. He will forget that he's a village boy with Coke. And he will say, oh, you're pretty. Can I have a seat? And maybe you should have asked him, oh, why are you having a Coke? Have a wine. And he says, no, I really don't like drinking. I'm driving somewhere. And he will come up with one smooth lie, right? Just to give that his Coke to the confidence that he has. I know you guys understand this. What am I saying? When it comes to that dream job, your dream marriage, your dream spouse, it's about the marriage of two personalities. That's why I said, first of all, divorce your mind from what happens in Nigeria, where it is you at the mercy of whoever. That's not how life is. We are looking at global opportunities here. As much as the organization is checking you out, you are checking them out. You see, Wilfred, when he puts up his whatever, they tell him, oh, we have 150 PA plus benefit. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, no, it is way below my current pay. Can we do 155? I just laugh because it's the same thing now. When you see a pretty woman and you say hello to her, she does the shakara. Oh, I'm sorry, you want a seat? Well, I guess so. If you're buying your own drink or if you're paying for, that's the shakara that Wilfred is doing. That's all. Right? But where is that coming from? It's coming from a place of confidence because he knows that if you have reached out to him, then he must look pretty to you. And you're willing to start the conversation. Right? So if you are starting this conversation, he has something of worth and he's going to play it up. He's going to play it up. That's all what it is. So how does this relate to emotional intelligence? Whether you are in Nigeria or you are in different parts of the world or you are in the US or Canada or, wherever. I'll tell you a story. With all my experience, I've told you, okay, so trained everywhere, traveled everywhere, served several people. I landed Canada and I got an interview with an organization I've been eyeing from Nigeria. I absolutely love this organization and I was able to get a leg in to speak with the CEO directly. They wanted me to work directly with her. In fact, they were asking me, your visa, you can travel to the US with it, right? Everything was set up. With that fear of, oh my God, new levels, new devils. That fear of, hey, I hope they will like me. I'm just a newbie. This one, that one. In fact, first things first, I totally missed the address of the place. I arrived. I had to call ahead to say, look, I'm sorry, I'm running late because I missed my way. So I'll be about 30 minutes late, and they rescheduled. The whole nervousness, like I was a complete shoe in the door. The job was mine, but I went in there and totally messed up because I was like, this is me small. I'm just, I couldn't believe it. It was too good to be true that a company that I had been desiring actually wanted me. It's the same way some guys, when you see some guys, they ask a lady out and they're like, why are you doing mumu for this woman like this now? It's because the man doesn't believe that the woman, this fine woman that he's been liking, winked back at him, is wanting to sit down and have a drink with him, is agree, and they find themselves messing up because, they can't believe it. It's coming from a place of low self-esteem. In the same way, a woman goes and she sees, someone with a big ride and all of that, and they stop and they say hello and all of that. She's like, hey, imagine this big man. Why? Low self-esteem. So when you understand that engagement starts with you. You control the narrative. Then you understand when I start to say you need to build your emotional intelligence. Now, there are 5 elements of emotional intelligence. The first one is self awareness. That's why I gave Wilfred Coke. He's aware that he's a village boy with Coke. Not wine, not champagne, nothing. Just that. When you are aware of your SWOT analysis, you can better build your strategy. Now, what's your SWOT analysis? I'm sure you're very familiar with that. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your opportunities? What are the threats that keep you from maximizing the opportunity in front of you? How can you maximize your strength, minimize your weaknesses, take advantages of the opportunities, and then eradicate or mitigate the threats facing you? So if, say, for example, in that situation where you are in front of an interviewer, be it in a networking platform, be it, in wherever, be it virtual, and you know that your strength is the fact that you you have the technical knowledge, and maybe your weaknesses is the ability to, or how do I put it, to select, to use the right words or to communicate fluently, then you might decide to use technical analogies or turn the conversations to areas where your strength shows. But that wouldn't come into play without you being aware. Like I tell my public speaking clients, I just finished with a client this morning and I have one right after this session. The first step, self awareness. How do you respond when you are nervous? Some of us don't even take the time to understand that. When you feel yourself starting to get nervous, your palms are sweating, your stomach is paining you, your heartbeat starts beating, is a scientific reaction. Your brain is picking up your fear signals and pumping adrenaline into your bloodstream that's triggering your organs to respond in the way it's responding. Stomach clenching, heartbeat pumping, because your brain is telling you fight or flight. And so when you understand, for some people, their nervous reaction is tears. Their voice starts to get shaky. For some people, they start to laugh like a maniac. They just start to giggle. And it's Marty, yes, sir. What is not funny, you start to laugh and knock yourself out. For some people, they just go silent, mute. It is not at the point of the interview that you deal with those sessions. You start to build that self-awareness before you even get there. That's where we talk about preparation, meeting opportunity. Before you get there, you start to, what are my weaknesses? How can I work on it? Now, I told you that it's a scientific response of your organs. So therefore, what do? You trick your brain. One thing your body needs to understand, some of us might not be science students. Well, I started with science before I diverted to economics. So I have a bit of this, but I've done some accurate research into this. Your brain works with oxygen to send signals, right? And so if you think about it, when you are in a fight or flight situation, you do not have the ability to breathe in properly. The brain is not getting enough oxygen, so it is working overtime and it is pumping and alerting every organ within your body. Red alert, SOS, SOS, 911. How do you trick your brain? When they tell you sit up straight, there's a reason for that. Sit up straight, shoulders back. It opens up your chests and you are able to get in more air. Now, once you get more air into your lungs, into your bloodstream, your arteries are taking oxygen-rich blood to your brain. And your brain is saying, hold on, hello, I'm getting so much oxygen that I should be getting if there is really something to be afraid of. So maybe there isn't really anything. What happens? The brain starts to slow down. And all those red alert signals it was sending to your stomach, to your sweat glands, to you, everything starts to calm down. And then you are able to correct your cracky voice, you're able to, and then speak. But of course, like I said, this comes with practice before that session, because if you're trying to do it right where you're there, conflicting signals, the brain will always go with the negative. So before you get there, you need to be self-aware. What are your triggers? How can you overcome those triggers? What are your weaknesses? How can you downplay it? What are your strengths? How can you outplay it? Every single person must have a SWOT analysis, not the one you did 5 years ago, updated. Because for every skill, every strength, every interaction, that SWOT analysis is changing. For every situation, that SWOT analysis is changing because the opportunities and the threats change. Like I told you, new levels, new devils. I had worked with governors and CEOs and top ministers in Nigeria. I came to Canada and I felt like I was out of water. I've completely forgot the fact that I did my master's in the UK, that I'd gone to India, I traveled to this one. No, all I looked at was that woman's face. Oyibo, hey, out of everybody, we dey, forgetting that I had been selected. They wanted me. I shed bitter tears. As I came out from the interview, I knew that I'd messed up. Well, the good part of that story is that we went back again. They offered me a job in that organization again, but now I'd gotten something better. So I could, I know, I hear you, thank you. Now my eyes had opened. I saw the light. I remembered who I was. And I was like, sorry, can you do 200 plus benefits? Wilfred, you know how we do it. And they're like, oh, I understand, but I've done some schooling now. I've settled in. I had some experience now. I had worked a bit with Apple and everything. So I was like, nah, not enough anymore. So that girl who was jittery and nervous and shaking, she remembered who she was and she sat up straight. I had become self-aware.
Yeah.
The next thing, the
Mm.
next element after self-awareness is understanding the other person. Self-management. Now, imagine yourself in a conflict situation. Oh no, let's go back to that analogy, Wilfred. I'm not letting you off the hook just yet. Let's go back to that analogy. So you ask her, oh, indeed, you're pretty. Or maybe Emmanuel, let's use you. Let's see what your skills are.
All right.
That's
Okay.
Oga. That be that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
So
fine. That's fine. Don't
okay.
worry.
So she says, oh yes, have a seat. Let's talk. And let's say you were really upset. You were upset from the office, and you really actually just came there to have a coke. And then she teases you about your shoes. I know guys are very particular about their shoes. And she's like, these sneakers that you're wearing like this is looking like boots. Where did you get it from? In her mind, that was a conversational opener, something to just, make you laugh and all of that. But you were already not in a good mood. You saw her, yes, you appreciated her beauty. You thought maybe chatting with her would ease your mood. And then she goes to the one thing that you're sensitive about. What do you respond with?
Okay. Uh, I try to throw it back like a joke. I will say, "How this shoe you're seeing has climbed many mountains, and I've walked around, delivered me. I have cruised with it. It's my Prado Jeep. It's my Lexus, and very soon I'm going to make it the Range Rover." So I just throw it back like that. So that's how I respond.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. I can see you're a smooth operator. Look at you. You just you navigated that very well. Understanding how your
Mm,
emotions and how your reactions play with the other person, with the society is important. Most people come into an interview situation and they're just focused on them. Me, I would talk a mile a minute so that everybody sees me. I'm a star. I have to tell you about my qualifications. I have to tell you about my job experience. I have to tell you. No, it's banter. Oh, tell us about you. What would you do in this situation? Why have you applied for this job? A question they always ask. What do you know about us? That should give you an inkling into the fact that they want to see if you too found them special. But most times we go in and we have focused and prepared for just us. Why? It's the same thing in a relationship. You go into a relationship and you're thinking, wow, what do I benefit from it? All about me, me, me. From experience, I hope you know that that relationship will not work. At least let me ask the married people in our group,
Yeah.
right? It's what pari passu. It's you get as much as you
Yeah.
give,
Sure.
or even more, but you've got to give. So
Yeah.
you show interest in that organization.
Yeah.
Oh, my name is Blessing. I'm very passionate about communication because I believe that with quality and correct communication, you can build results and relationships that will take you to every next level or open that next opportunity in life. Now, this is important for you as an organization because you need someone who understands the internal versus the external realities and can speak to it articulately and eloquently in such a way that the organization stakeholders are bought into the dream and vision. What have I just done there? I've shown you how my strength plays and connects with the organization's strength, what they want. So, self management is understanding how you, as an individual, your actions affects the other person. When you are self-managed, you can read a room. Do you understand when I say you need to read a room? Like imagine Emmanuel talked about his shoes, that is his Prado, is his Lexus and everything, and she didn't laugh. He threw it back as a joke, but she didn't laugh. Emmanuel, what would be your comeback from that?
Well, um, I would just so I would say, you don't believe me? I'm telling you the truth. I would just try to stress the joke, and then I'll when I don't get the expected response, then I try to go for another topic. I'll just switch over to another topic,
Did
and
you get
try to
that?
look for something to just co- call off that point.
Honestly, it seems like we had rehearsed this beforehand, but like you can see, I'm just throwing it out and putting them on the spots.
Yes, but Blessing, I told you he's Oga, but
Yeah.
he's Oga. But on the other flip side, for me, I'll be looking at your facial disposition. I'll be looking at your facial expression. If what you said was more of ridiculing me, then my response too would just be more of guiding against escalation. But if the facial expression was more of a fun type, definitely I would do the same thing Emmanuel did. And if she's not laughing off, then I should be smart enough to find a way to switch it off just to get the attention that I got initially.
Exactly, Wilfred. You see, the thing that both of them are saying is reading the non-verbal communication, her reaction, the facial expression, and responding to it. That is self-management. Some of us just focus on the lips, what the words are coming out. But science and research has shown that people believe 70% of your non-verbal than your verbal. Why? Because it's very easy for you to lie with your lips, but not as easy for you to lie with your body. And so when your verbal and non-verbal is in conflict, they will go with your non-verbal, right? So your ability to read their body language, their
Yeah.
reaction, the way they tilt their head and say, tell us more. Is that tell us more a no, we don't believe you, or is it I'm interested? Okay. So what would you have done differently in this situation? Oh, tell us about your education. What did you enjoy about it? You know, that's body language to see, okay, they are really responding to me, or I'm just scratching the surface, they are bored. What else can I say to pick their fancy? Should I change the topic? Should I ask, oh, what are you really looking for in this role? Oh, I decided to apply for this position because I saw that and from research into your organization and what is going on in the external market, I see that. How can you play and respond and quickly switch if you see that your current strategy is not working for you? If you decide to go in straight and formal and they're not responding and they're bored and they're like, okay, yes, next question. What can you do? Can you train a bit of humor? Can you pause and say, okay, I know I'm the one being interviewed, but can I ask a question, please? Oh, don't worry, questions should be done after the interview. Okay, thank you. It's just that in relation to what new strategy can you respond and change? I don't want to keep us too long. I don't know how time quickly flies when we keep talking. It's already 47 minutes past the hour. And like I said, I have other clients after this
Yeah.
session. So I want to be sure that I'm
Mm.
giving you opportunity to ask questions. So
Mhm.
please, you can use the chat window to ask your
Okay.
questions ahead. I can respond to, and I'll soon wrap up and then we can take questions
Mm.
properly. Okay. So like I was saying, the next thing is empathy.
Yeah.
That's the next element when we look at what?
Empathy.
Emotional
Yeah.
intelligence, empathy. How do you show that you care? Because honestly, especially in today's world, that's a computer or most systems are automated. The only addition you are bringing is that human element, of which a major aspect of the human element is
Mm.
empathy. I can tell you for a fact, I stay here and
Yeah.
I interview people, white, black, red, blue, everybody, who seeks opportunities within my organization. And I'm not so much focused on their technical skills. In fact, the templates that we use and most organizations, because of the laws here, always follow a laid down template, right? So that we are sure that it's fair. The template that we use
Yeah.
is mainly focused on your
It's fair. Yeah.
organizational fits, your fit in terms of our values as an organization, our team relationship. And so, can you talk about relationship without empathy?
Mm.
Hardly no. So, we
No, you
want to
can't.
see,
Yeah.
how do you care about the things that are happening around you? Can you use an analogy, say the hate crimes against Asian Americans, to show an aspect of you, a leadership aspect of you? Can you show the use an analogy of the police brutality in Nigeria and the rest of the world to see how you would have solved the situation and show your critical reasoning skills? How can you reflect empathy in a way that is relevant to the conversation, not out of points, always remaining relevant? Okay? Then we move on to the next element, which is
Mm.
social skills. Now, one major thing about
Social
social skill
skills.
is your ability to laugh. Humor. Humor will take you far farther than money in your pockets. Your ability to make
Mm.
the other person feel good,
Mm.
to smile, to laugh at yourself and, take a
Mm.
joke. Because at the end of the day, I might not remember exactly the words. Like when I first interacted with Wilfred, I can't remember the words that we spoke, but I can remember how he made me feel. And people act on their feelings, different from computers. If you hear, oh, a computer is efficient because it has no feelings, but we're interviewing you because we want to
Yeah.
feel. So, how do you make us feel?
Yes.
Are you so serious that you remind us of our grandfather or that our math teacher in secondary school that used to make us flog us? He said, oh, it's interview. It's interview. I have to be serious. How do you make us feel?
Mm.
I keep going back to
Mm.
that man woman relationship because it's the most basic form of relationship that responds to every individual. So let's go back now to Wilfred. Now, you've spoken to her. You told her your shoe has taken you all around the world and that you're still going to make it a Land Rover. But see, you with your heels, I'm sure this shoe cannot even carry you to the next room. And then she
Mm.
laughs. And she says, okay, I can see that you're a smart one. Well, yes, they can't carry me to the next room, but when I stand up, it makes me taller than you. What's your comeback?
Mm. So are you asking me or
Yes,
Wilfred?
I'm asking you. Wilfred, sorry, I'm asking Wilfred.
Oh, you're asking me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well,
Mm.
fantastic. That's why I quite complimented your beauty, because being tall, your height also adds to your beauty. But nonetheless, can I sit down now? And what's going on with you?
Okay. So Wilfred will go straight to the point. What's going on
Mm-hmm.
with you? Emmanuel, what would be your response?
Well, my response will be somehow close to what Wilfred just said. But in fact, all the confidence is very, very key for us to show up confidently at an interview panel. And you also wrap it up by saying you don't win all the time. So have had opportunity where I've gone for interview and I didn't do well. I picked up the lessons and the learnings, and I try to prepare myself for the next one. So there are some of them that you may just not get it right, but don't feel disappointed. Don't look down on yourself that you've not performed well, but just pick the learnings and then prepare for the next one. So thank you, Blessing. Thank you for sharing your time and your thoughts around the subjects, showing up confidently to land at interviews panel to land your dream job. So at this point, I would like to yield the floor to anyone who may want to ask any particular question. You can either use the chat box or you raise your hands, and then the blessing will be able to give the expected response to your question. Um,
Okay. Thank you so much,
Anybody,
Blessing.
please?
Yes, please.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Blessing. I want to ask a question, and it's not really, it's not like I don't know, but others will learn from it. So if I want to sum up from so much that you've said, which is nothing far from the truth, things that I've had, all those experiences, but in summary, you can go for an interview and they will not ask you anything, including you, Emmanuel. You can also answer it. They might not even ask you anything pertaining to the field
Yeah.
or what you're coming to do. They might just want to size your personality, who you are, how do you reason, how do you respond to
Mm.
stimulus, how do you respond to reaction, how do you respond, or how would you respond to situation, not the technical aspect of what you're coming to do. Is that what I can get from your both explanations?
I can tell you as a HR specialist practicing and licensed here, there are three main things we look at. And if you look at any job vacancy, they will tell you about the organization, they will tell you about the role and responsibilities, and they'll tell you the team that you're going to be working with. Oh, a 5-man team, or in a team of 2 or 1 or stuff. So if you look at job vacancies or postings, you see those three aspects. That should give you an inkling about what the organization is looking for. Your technical skills is already judged by your resume. Do you have the education that they are asking for? Do you have the required number of years in the field? Within your resume, you would have listed your roles and responsibilities within the opportunities or experiences that you've had. So we see that. The next two aspects we are going to be looking at is you as a person. We want to size you up. Do you fit into the organization, and do you fit into this team? Is the team a jovial, women only nice that needs this kind of person to come in? And so we're asking you questions to fully understand who you are, your characteristics, your temperament, your value system, as it relates to that particular team and as the organization as a whole. So yes, some of these things, that's why I started by saying that you don't start responding at that spot, which is what most of us do. You build this thing continually, daily. You prepare yourself daily by understanding who you are and projecting the best part of who you are towards every interaction you are with. So is technical skills is good. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying throw out technical skills. No, it's good. to have it. And that's where the education and experience and everything comes in. It's not only just talking the talk, you must be able to walk the talk. It's not about certificates, but you must have the certificates. You must sabi the job that they are calling you for, right? But in as much as you
Yeah.
have the technical skill, the real butter on the bread, the stew on the rice, the thing that makes the difference is your ability to showcase your character and your temperament as this golden apple that is irresistible. I hope I've been able to respond to that, Fred. I see a question here from Sheung. It says, what would you advise for
Oh,
people
yeah.
who have no experience to apply for jobs? Probably because the person is a fresh graduate from university. Thank you very much. That's one of the questions we always get from fresh graduates. But you see, throughout life, you've been learning. I remember the first job I had when I got out of school. What I made sure to do was to show transferable skills. So while you were in school, you had a heavy course load. The fact that you were able to manage your time to respond to coursework diligently and on time and excellently too is time management skills. Most of the job responsibilities you see there is time management skills. Now, another thing I always say to people is you cannot kick away the value of voluntary work, whether it is in a church, whether it's in an organization, whether it's as an intern. In fact, with my current organization, right, we scroll down. The first thing we check is your volunteer work. I tell you the truth, I kid you not. Even when we say years of experience, the first thing we check is your volunteer work before we go back up to say, okay, experience here, here, here. This is what we need. We hardly even check qualification. That's just an inside secret. So when we say volunteer work, please get involved in your community. Be it your church, if that's the avenue you have. Be if you, as long as you have some time. And again, virtual work now, you can do anything virtual. So you have your phone. Be social media manager for someone, even if it's only 2,000 naira they're paying you. Say, okay, for your data. That is what social media management skills, which on its own now is a course you go to school to study. If you say you want to be hosting events, any event that you are, don't worry, I'll be your MC. That's public speaking skills. So you cannot take away the place of volunteer work. You can't say, I have no experience. You weren't coasting through life. Experience, life itself is experience. Your ability to cross the road properly without getting hit is an experience. So it's just the way you recognize the value of that experience and position it as value rather than I was just going to school and coming back. No, 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 no. I would add that in the global world, children have started working from 14 years old. In fact, even younger, they start delivering newspapers. They start working at Tim Hortons and McDonald's, flipping burgers. So they are already accustomed to working, and most of them work through school. So don't stay in Nigeria, back home, and we believe, oh, everything we're in school, we're full-time students. You don't do anything. No, please find something for your hands to do. Always go and assist your lecturer, become a TA, teacher's assistant for your lecturer. You can put that on your CV. The second question is, why do organizations find
Yeah.
it difficult to invite those cohorts of people for interview, not to talk of employment? Like I've said, you've not positioned yourself well now. Hmm? Imagine you want to go and ask a girl out and you tell her, I don't have any money in the bank. Oh. And that's what you put on, that's your opening statement because you put on your
You've
CV,
lost it.
no experience. On your
You've
resume, you
lost
have
it.
put there, no experience. So
You've lost
imagine
it.
that's what you're asking me now. You go to meet a guy and say, your first opening statement is, I'm a broke, let me not say broke ass nigga. I'm a broke brother. How can that be your selling point? Because as I'm hiring you,
Yeah.
I'm going to be look, no matter what you know, I will still need to teach you how things are done in my organization. But I want to know that I'm
Mm,
not starting from zero.
yes, sir.
Do you understand? So you
Mm,
cannot come and tell me I am zero.
mm,
It just shows me that this person is not serious. So please, nobody does not have
mm,
experience. You're just not positioning it well. On your resume, Put your volunteer experience, put your transferable skills that has been gotten through time, through your years in school. When I was in university, I can tell you, I studied, my first degree was University of Calabar. I would go to Aba and buy materials and sew linen shirts and sell. That was marketing skills for me. That was entrepreneurial skills. That, and trust me, I put, when I told you I put transferable skills on my resume, that was what I showed. And the first job I got was a consultancy um, um, organization with a financial company in Lagos. Are there international job platforms that you recommend for people in Nigeria to get job remotely? Yes. Comme si, comme ça. Let me explain what I mean by that. Now, if you think about it, there are laws here that really guide the way organizations interact with people, meaning taxes must be paid because they are going to be listing you as an organization, as an employee of theirs. But to tell you the truth, first thing you should start out from is from Fiverr. Fiverr is a platform for everybody, freelancers. Start getting jobs from there. Start building your abilities. And then you can now move to other international jobs. So the ones here, we have Zip Recruiter. I'm just going to type that in the chat box so that you can see. Okay, so yes, I said Fiverr. You can check Indeed. Indeed offers opportunities virtual, and they will show you in the description. And you should have a profile there. Another one is Zip Recruiter. I think that also pertains to international work. Now, focus when you are doing your job search, keywords, and all of that. Look out for virtual opportunities. Of course, if you are talking about a virtual opportunity, you must have the components, which is good internet, an international bank account, or something that makes it okay for them to pay you. So it's not enough that there are several opportunities that people say, we want you, but it's too difficult to work with you, right? Yes, there's Glassdoor, Wilfred. Thank you very much. So make it easy for them to be able to work with you. Prepare yourself. So if it's a PayPal account, you have to open so that it's easy for them to pay you. If it's an e-portfolio is simply a website or some web page where you have examples of your work that they can refer to say, oh, this person, then good internet, not saying, sorry, it's night here. I'm in a noisy place or it's dark. NEPA's taking lights. For you to take advantage of those opportunities, you have to first prove yourself worthy. Okay? Hope that helps. And again, Google is your best friend, right? Seriously, just type job boards for international candidates. You would have a whole lot of information. Google is your very best friend. So please, let's look at that. hmm
Okay.
Any other question?
Right. Thank you, Blessing. I really appreciate. Any other question from anyone, please, before we wrap up this session? Thanks so much, Blessing. Thank you for the insight. Thank you for the information provided. Um,
My pleasure.
so, you talked about those volunteers job. So I think I discovered that early in life, and I started building on that. So if I roll out my CV, most of the jobs I did were really volunteer jobs. So you just opened up something. I begin to think now, was it really one of the advantage that gave me a heads up, when I went for my interview? So, I was just trying to think through it, because when I got the job and I saw my peers, I didn't really see where I dusted them, in terms of, we all had good qualifications, you know, but when the results came out, they begin to favor some certain candidate because of some qualities they see in that person. So I think people need to show up uh, as leaders,
Absolutely.
because companies need problem solvers. You must demonstrate problem solving skills. because every organization that wants to hire you to come and solve a problem. If they could solve it themselves, they don't need your service because they will be spending money to hire you. So a lot of time people just feel because they have a degree or they have a certificate, they should be able to land themselves any job they desire. But it goes beyond that. Imagine you having a domestic staff and yet you wake up every morning, you still have to do the house chores yourself before you go out. After a while, you just tell the, I don't think I need your service because I can do what I hired you to the gap I hired you to fill in. I'm already doing it, so I don't need your service. So it's good
Absolutely.
for us to take note of that. Um, because it's really important. You could put that you were teaching some little kids in your compound, just like me. Those are some of the things I was doing in the past. I try to lead people in every group I find myself. I try to step up and fill in that gap of leadership.
Sorry,
And
let me just interrupt you a
gradually
bit,
you begin to
Emmanuel.
build.
Let me just interrupt you a bit. You
Yeah,
say you're teaching some little kids in his compound. We don't have to know that is in your compound. Please, this is one example that I find a
yeah,
lot of
yeah, yeah.
people making. TMI, too much
Okay,
information.
okay.
I remember there was someone we
All
just did an
right.
interview with, and the lady, just to show us how caring she is and all of that, she works in a financial institution. We're interviewing her for a financial role, and she said, that sometimes she actually gives her own personal money to the people, the customers of the bank, and when they have their money back, they pay her back. A financial role where integrity and money is very important. So once you say, I
Ooh.
teach children, that is all. It's okay. We don't need to know. We teach little kids in your compound. Just say, I'm able to communicate effectively with children from between 3 to 5 years. You say, wow, interesting. It's packaging. It's packaging. Sorry, Emmanuel, continue. It seems like
Manuel.
we lost him. Go for it, please.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Emmanuel is soon gonna be back. It's been an awesome time. I've been enjoying.
Thanks for that. Freddy, can go ahead.
Okay, so I was saying that I was enjoying every little information that is being shared here today, and I learned them in a hard way when I was really looking forward to getting into the corporate setting in the US. I didn't even know that I could use my Nigerian experiences where I worked at the time. I didn't know it was quite relevant until somebody shared with me, like you guys are talking to us now, and I was able to integrate them. Again, the key word is packaging. You can't say, let's say at this stage of your life, you're looking for a job and you've graduated almost 10 years. Well, what were you doing? That gap, there is a gap, right? What were you doing? There was something you were doing that you were busy, just like Emmanuel was sharing. He was teaching little kids. So your ability to package a word, define that act that shows that you were productive, you were adding value, goes
Absolutely.
a significant way. I mean, I am so happy that Blessing was making this presentation in. It looks like I was the one presenting it. I like to come down and break it down, not quoting. Sometimes when I want to make a presentation and I'm like, okay, guys, this first part is the Oyibo part where I will use slides to do. When I finish, I shut down the recording. Then let's go down to the. So, Emmanuel, go on. Thank you very much.
No, I didn't want any slides. I wanted us to spend our hour very well. Let's
Very
not
well.
look at slides. Let's talk it.
Mhm.
And I thank you for your help,
Okay,
Wilfred and
thank you
Emmanuel.
very much. So I think we've had enough. Uh, yeah, okay. Many thanks, Blessing. We really appreciate your time and your sacrifice. Um, I believe everybody enjoyed the time here as well. So I don't know. One more last word from you, Blessing, before we call it a day, please.
The last word I would want to say is value yourself. Nobody will add value to you unless you value yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to be honest. So not only when we say value, don't just carry an empty drum, put a shiny material around it and say I valued myself. Add value and appreciate the value you've added. So first of all, you're doing the right thing by being a part of this conversation, by being a part of this platform. Well done. Thank you. That is a good first step. The next step is that information, the information you receive consistently, either from the Telegram group or from here, each time you come here, use it, apply it to build yourself and then be your own cheerleader. Go on the different platforms. Gone are the days when I was growing up, you needed to come on NTA to be a star. Right now, you don't even need NTA. Like YouTube, create your own channel with your phone and you can be your own star. Be your own cheerleader. Value yourself and watch the world open up for you. Honestly, the world is your oyster. It's just waiting for you to come out and play. Sorry, we have something. We have something in the chats. I don't know. Aziz, sorry, am I seeing this? Can someone see it? Read it out, please.
So from Osei, that's a question. He has a question for us.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there.
Yeah, he says it is one thing to get a job, another to keep the job. Would like to know how one can keep a job in a toxic environment. Toxic in the sense that the management are not encouraging, where the HRM tends to carry himself as a mini god, making it compulsory to do certain things, irrespective of your. You can see the last part. I can't see the last part.
Irrespective of your personal decision. I had a scenario where the HR said it's compulsory to own a pension fund with the firm. Is it a pointer to just leave the firm or continuously endure the oppression, hoping something better comes? To further emphasize the toxic environment, I had to write a letter to get a day permission to write a professional exam. HRM further uttered that he would have to tie my neck with a rope just for the fear that I was going for an interview. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm really sorry that you're going through this. I recognize that a lot of organizations, and that's because of the prevalent high unemployment rate in most parts of the world, without laws that actually guide the system. Because if it was here, you'll be sued. They will sue that organization and sue the HR person for making such a statement or acting in this way. So, first of all, I empathize and I apologize that you're going through that. Now, there are two sides to this. For me, I see a part where they are afraid to lose you. Because if someone says, I'm going to tie your neck with a rope because they're afraid you're going for an interview, that means that you have something. And so if they see that you have something, my question to you is, why are you not seeing it in yourself? I wouldn't say that means you should leave the job, right? And go. No, that decision is for you to make. But self-awareness, how important is your mental health to you? How productive are you in that job and in other aspects of your life? Because you're a holistic being, right? You spend 8 hours of your life or so, give or take, in an organization, and then you're going into some other place and being miserable because where you are for the better part of the day is making you really miserable. I do not know what your financial situation is like for you to say, I can take the risk and I can stay 2 or 3 months without a job while I look at something. However, what I will say to you is you have the ability, the mindset is important to make every day easy, make every day bearable, and make every day count towards what you want. This is what I would have done if I was in that situation. I will, as much as possible, recognizing what my own triggers are, recognizing, understanding what that other person's triggers or who that person is, manage the relationship in such a way that they have no they have no call but to like me. So, Oga, if you, I see that you're someone who likes genuflecting and all that, beremole and paddy paddy, Oga, how are you doing today? In my mind, I might not be happy, but I put on a smile. Because when you are happy, me too, I'm happy. We both are at peace, right? So that's the first objective. Be at peace. Building my value. Volunteer to say, this task, let me do it. You start to make yourself indispensable. And like Emmanuel said earlier on, when you have, say, a house help in the house, a house manager or domestic staff that is not contributing value, it's easy to dismiss and be irritated and abuse that person. But when you see someone that is very good, I know that if this person goes, is wahala. So you will do your best to keep that person. So once you are jovial, bringing a positive atmosphere, even in the face of situations and everything, you just shrug it off. I mean, there are struggles everywhere in life, right? It's not even rosy here, right? So it's how you're able to respond to those struggles, number one. Number two, make yourself indispensable. Volunteer for the work, for the task, not the one at the 5 o'clock you want to go. I understand you have a life, but try to show that you are bringing value. Then keep your eye out for the next opportunity. That opportunity can be given to you in the form of a different job, or it can be created by you in the form of you developing a solution that competes with what the organization is currently doing. So, for example, if I'm a HR specialist in that firm and I know I'm doing my job well and the clients are coming to me and I see that people value what I'm doing, the next thing I will start doing is like I'm doing now, building up coaching sessions that I will coach maybe for free. Then people come and say, this thing that you taught me, I still don't know. I will say, if you pay me $100, I will do it for you. You pay me, I'm building a market, a clientele. Before you know anything, I'm able to feed myself. I'll tell job, bye, I'm following my dreams. But I would tell you from now that across the world, research has shown that over 80 people leave jobs because of manager-employee relationships. At the end of the day, it's your decision. You decide. You are the one wearing the shoe. You decide how it pinches you. So I don't know if Wilfred or Emmanuel has anything else to add.
No, you have said it all. You have said it all. It is what it is. You have to decide how you manage a particular job that you get. Thank God Emmanuel is here. He's a valuable asset in my world. Anytime I'm in one spot, if I need an honest advice, I'll call Emmanuel. So when I finally got a job with Arik, after 3 years looking for a job, Emmanuel called me. I was in his house. I can't forget that advice. Emmanuel has given me 2 major advice in life. He has given me several, but this particular 2, whether I sleep, I wake up, even if I die, I will always remember it. He said, Wilfred, aviation is one industry that don't really sustain so long in Nigeria. So why you get this opportunity, strive to strategize 2 things. 1, how to keep the job. 2, how to get another one should you lose this one. That's how the aviation industry is in Nigeria. It comes and it goes.
I don't even wait to lose it. When I get into an organization, I tell myself I have 3 years, maximum 4 years here to learn everything I can learn, and then I'm going to the next level. Go out when the ovation is on the highest.
On the highest. So it was in Emmanuel's sitting room that the thought of going for piloting came up, and we checked. I said, Emmanuel, you think also? He said, Fred, don't worry, we'll play around it. Then another time, I was in the US. I finally made it to come for the pilot training. So I got some hitches and some things were happening. I called Emmanuel, say I should come back to Nigeria. Emmanuel said, Wilfred, the Nigeria you left before is not the same you are coming back. Other people have gone there before. They are still there.
They didn't die.
And they did the way he said it, He said it on a very snapshot, and he said, "See, oh, that's what I'm telling you. Oh. I told you before. So make sure." So um, I think building relationship with people that can give you honest advice like that, especially when you're just starting a career or you're facing most of these challenges, it goes a significant way. Where you can open up the way you're opening up to us. Again, that's the essence of Zit Worldwide. Zit Worldwide is there to bridge that gap. You might not have people that you can confide in. Come to Zit. We have enough people. Emmanuel is there, Blessing is there. Confide with them. And they will give you honest guidance and coaching that allow you to make. But the thing is, if you know you're not ready to open up, be transparent, be as simple as possible for Blessing to better advise you, or for Emmanuel or myself and others to better advise you. There is no point, because it is out of your opening up to the nearest minimum understanding that is when someone can intervene. You know, that part of the world where we come from, we keep stuff a lot. We keep stuff a lot to ourselves. So that's the best honest advice you can give to a young professional who is having this particular.
Like,
There are no jobs out there, so you
I
have to.
wish I wish I can show you the next client that I'm going into in the next. I just sent her a message to give me some time. She's from Ghana. She sent me a message, that, oh, she really needs help and all of that. She could have stayed on her own and said, well, I don't, but she reached out to me, and we started our engagement after she had made the necessary um, um,
Commitment.
financial
Yeah.
commitments. But is the affirmations to first believe in yourself. So she wrote that down, put it there. I'm telling you, by the first session, I wanted to show you our chat message. This lady, she's over 30. She's been a business entrepreneur. She's traveled everywhere and everything. She broke down crying. But you see, I would not have been able to speak to her. And it's like a doctor. You don't lie to your doctor and to your lawyer. You don't lie to your coach. Because if you're not transparent, we can't help you. When you keep the secret and suffering, we like to say we are strong Africans, we can bear everything. You don't have all the knowledge. Even if it's just to say, okay, yeah, sorry, that information you have shared, that problem is here. The next time I see an opportunity that relates to that thing you were saying, hey, it's in my head. I'm going to forward that to you to say, I saw this, I think it might help. So instead of you doing your research by yourself, you now have 2 people. Then you tell 3 people, you tell 4 people, you have 5 people now doing the research to help you. That's the power of association. That's the power of community. So if you're in a community like this and you're sealed, every time they post something or stuff, you just smile and know that you're silent sentinel. Oyo is your name. You have money in your hands and you're hungry. That's what you're doing. You have money in your hands, you have food on your table, and you're looking at it and smiling and you're hungry. Continue. That's all I can say to you. Can we go? No, I absolutely have.
Thank you for being here with
All right.
us.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for joining today's session for in the month of March. We'll have another session in April, and we're going to send out once it is properly firmed up. I really want to appreciate our guest, Blessing Akpan. Truly inspirational, and you've done
Blessing is not a
justice to the
guest, so
topic.
Blessing is
And I
in
believe for
house.
everyone that connects, a partner, yes, guest and partner as well. So,
Yes,
so I
come past
believe
being a
everyone that
guest.
has connected will, yeah, will do something with the information they've received today. And of course, that thing they will do with it will really transform them. It will turn out to be a memorable one. Many thanks to everyone, Sean, Wilfred, everyone that has connected. Thank you, Ose His, Rafiu, Messi. I can't call everyone's name, but you are highly appreciated for connecting for the month of March, this session for the month of March. See you all in April, while we'll distribute the topic for the month of April. God bless you all and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.